Yo, walk one, walk one, walk one. It's your boy LP Coach, and I'm back. As you can see, brand spanking new show. New little setup here. Yes, I told you guys we're gonna switch out. We're coming in slowly. Big show today. Sorry for being late. A few technical difficulties for me. One thing, I ain't tech savvy, so just give me time with that. And I was trying to make it work, but I'm gonna give you guys the show regardless. And you know what? Like, I reached this point here, and this point here that I reach, I can't lie, I'm proud of where I've got to right now. Don't Hey, before we start the show, don't forget to like, comment, share, all of that stuff. Today's a big one. Today's a big one, and this one is the start of a new journey. Because man's been dipping and dabbing, lots of ideas flowing. I just wanted to be consistent with this one, and I thought, you know what? No better way. I'm coming on the internet. Obviously, a lot of people know me and they've heard of me doing football and certain things. But you know what? I'm coming to a new audience. And a lot of people don't know me. They don't know my journey. They don't know what I've done. So I thought, you know what? Gonna rebrand, gonna redecorate, gonna put a few new things in there, show a bit about me, a bit about my stuff, and I'm gonna show you guys my journey. Yeah, man, I'm gonna show you guys my journey. And I just want to say, for any of you guys that's doing content out there and you feel like you're not reaching anywhere, your views ain't really getting anywhere, one platform might be doing better than the other, keep going, because you don't know who's watching. Because for me, I started this like I first started content like 2 years ago, done a little pod, then I stopped, and I recently came back. And my views wasn't really quite as like doing as much as I was doing before. And I was like, you know what? Just gonna stick at it. I need to be consistent. And then in the end, thank God, someone's reached out to me, seen what I've done, and they like what I do. And now they want to push me and help me invest in what I'm doing and pushing forward. So when I'm saying this show is going to be growing every single week, this show is going to be growing every single week. So I'm just trying to look for my water. Let me get my water while you lot enjoy the decor. Yes, sir. I'm back. Yeah, so this show is going to be about my journey. So I'm going to talk about how I started off in football, where I'm at, how I got where I am today. And as I go on in this journey, yes, I'm going to still have the preview shows on a Thursday. I'm going to switch it up a bit Friday mornings and Sunday and Monday. You guys will let you guys know. But I'm going to be talking a lot more about my journey, talking about my experience in football, talking about what I know, working with young players. I worked in the academy system for a very long time. I've worked with players that play at a high level. I've had my own club. I've worked with clubs. I've been a scout. I've been a coach. I've done the whole 9 yards. So while I'm here, it's important. I feel like it's important that I show you guys what it is that who I am actually, and maybe you guys can take me in and listen to me a bit more, and I can give you guys some gems along the way, because I do feel, especially like with my mates and people that I know, always asking me for advice, even though I don't really quite coach as much, but I'll get more into that in the end later on in the show. But when it comes to me speaking online, I feel like it's important for you guys to know who I am, my journey, and where I come from. So you don't think I'm just chatting a load of jibber jabber. But let's get straight into it. Yes, me coaching. My coaching journey. Where I talk about my football journey, I slap my little football journey in there as well, because I think my little football youth journey is not really exciting, not really that much. I'll be honest. I didn't start playing football till I was about 13 years old. I was a bit naughty in school, so I didn't quite get into the school team. So I had to beg the school teacher to play me in goal. I was like, sir, please just allow me. I'll play in goal. You know, them days, no one wants to play in goal. So I thought, you know what? When I was actually younger, before I even that's like secondary school days. When I was younger, me and my mates used to play all the time. We used to jump over Forest Gate AstroTurf every weekend, playing football, one touch, 60-second in the cage, all of that. When I'm talking about my first like playing for an actual team, it was when I went to a school, Brampton Manor. I had to beg my teacher to play in the team, because obviously my behavior, not obvious, but my behavior wasn't really quite up to standard. So Asked him, sir, can I play in goal? He's like, yeah, played in goal. And to be honest, I thought I played all right. Like, thinking about the game, I can't remember it too much. I think we got smoked, to be honest. I think we got smoked. I'm not even gonna lie. I think we got smoked and we got knocked out. But you know, them days, Essex Cup, London Cup, so it was out, everyone was burning. But I was like, you know what? Carried on throughout the whole season and in the end, I started off at centre back. When at centre back, joined my first team from school. I remember I see a sign in school, Royal Falcons, like join your first team. Then I was like, oh my god, like went home, told my mum, like, yo, I need to join this team. Mum, like, not yo, but yeah, mum, I need to join this team. Like, really gonna get in. She's like, yeah, go on. Went there. She used to train Savage Gardens, and you know what? That's when football really kicked off for me. I'll be honest. Like, Royal Falcons, really enjoyed it. Used to train in Plaistow, that Lister, next to Lister School. And yeah, won the league every year. And then from there, I think it was like roughly around year 9, I started playing district, played district in year 9. In year 10, I actually won the London Cup with the district team. I think it was the London Cup or the Essex Cup, one of them. Played the whole season. I remember I scored in the semi-final in that game. And that's when actually, from there, I was told to come down to some Chelsea development thing. I played there a couple games. I'm not going to sit here and give you a whole malarkey. Me, I wasn't them. I'm not going to say, oh, signed to the academy club. It wasn't them times. When I was growing up, to be honest, and we speak about it now, a lot of my friends, especially in this coaching journey, you playing football back in the day, young days, like you was just hoping for someone to come to Once the Flats or some magic man to come tell you, hey, here's some golden ticket to a trial. And that was like the best thing ever. And like, for me, obviously, I played a couple showcase games, played, like I said, foundation games, a couple senior games, and I had a little injury. But from then, I went to play men's football. But what I learned is that the opportunities that was available when I was playing definitely wasn't available when I was coaching. And if I knew what I knew when I was coaching at the time, that when I was trying to pursue football, I would 110% be a professional football player because, like, yeah, just I had the ability. Like I said, I played centre back. I thought I played midfield, decent striker, but my best position was in them defensive areas and had ability on the ball. And I just love football. Like, big Manchester United fan. I love football my whole life, throughout school, debating with my friends, just knowing every player, all the information. So, like, even though I wasn't playing, because like young, obviously nowadays you see kids playing in teams from 8, 9 years old. Even though I wasn't playing in the team from them ages, my love for football was through the roof. And that exploded, like I said, when I joined Royal Falcons, playing in, week out. Also got to won the title every year, but you know the big trophy them takes when you're playing grassroots Sunday League. Everyone knows about the London Cup there. And yeah, got to the final. I think it was in year 10 or year 11, got to the final, played against Broadwater Farm, lost that final. I remember that game. I think we lost 1-0 in the final. There was tempest flaring. I think there was even a fight in the end. But I think it was one of my best games. I remember that game so vividly. I remember I took a free kick from like just over the halfway line, hit the crossbar. Like, yeah, it was a dark day. But yeah, played in the final for. I never won London Cup with Royal Falcons. And then after school, I then played for Globe Rangers. And for then, obviously, leaving school, you want to go and pursue your dreams. And it was men's football at the time. We used to train up in Walthamstow. And I remember I played 2 games for them. My first game, I actually played up front, scored on my debut. I was gassed. I was thinking, yes, you know what? This is the journey. And then, like 2-3 months later, I heard the club's folded. Folded? I'm like, no way. Like, the club's folded. Them times there, you know, when you're young and a lot of things are going on, like football is your love, but life is life. And then things started spiraling around and I just kind of didn't see no opportunities. I didn't see no pathway. I didn't know where to go. Like I said, I did play a couple showcase games and it didn't really quite get any opportunities like that. And then after that, left school. After I left school, actually, I'd done an apprenticeship at the same time. So because I love football so much, I love the coaching side of it as well. So after I left school, I actually tried to go to Epping Forest. Didn't manage to get in. Then luckily enough, I joined Leighton Orient and an apprenticeship for the whole year in coaching. Absolutely loved it. I done it with Shams. Everyone must know Shams. He's still about now. I see him the other day. Shams at Leighton Orient, great person, great coach. Taught me a lot at Leighton Orient. And yeah, I feel like when I joined them, and obviously, like I said, trying to get opportunities at that age, for me back in them days, it was like near on impossible. So I thought, you know what, I love football so much that I'm gonna do this coaching thing. And I went into the coaching thing, completed my MVQ at Leighton Orient after a year. And then after that, when it finished, I didn't really know where quite to go and how to do this MVQ. And then it got to a point where my son was born. And I thought, you know what, like, I really want to do this coaching thing. Like, where do I go? What do I need to do? Like, do you know what? Let me just start sending emails, start getting around and seeing who's gonna get me involved. And that's when I ended up with my first coaching role, and that was at Crown Pro Elite. So now this is where I'm going to get into the technical side of things. And you know what? To be honest, my no, actually, you know what? The best thing for me to do actually right now. 1 second, give me a second, people. Sorry, I'm gonna go into my Galerote, and yeah, we're gonna start it off from here. So yeah, my first job was at Crown Pro, and that's when life really kicked in for me when it came to football. One of the best experiences that I had coaching at Crown Pro Elite, and I'm gonna go through my journey because I learned a lot. It's led me where I am today. So let me just get this up for you guys. So 1 second. So you know what? You're starting off this thing, yeah. Like I said, I'm not tech savvy, guys. So just give me a second while I just get this up for you. Cool. What is this one? This one. All right. Cool. Yeah. First job was at Crown Pro. And at Crown Pro, this is here me at Crown Pro. And at Crown Pro, for me, like I said, one of the best experiences that I had. This is, as you can see, what I'm wearing in that Crown Pro. I think this was what do you call it? It was a Nike event. So we used to not like Adidas event. I think there was a tournament that was doing a sponsor there, and it was just here, us and the boys taking a few pictures and photos. And if you can see in that picture, I am actually wearing a Crystal Palace shirt. But before I get to that, this is the guy, Paul. I don't know if a lot of you guys know the guy Paul, but Paul was one of the main instruments in me getting where I am today. So I don't know if it's showing up on there. Is it showing? No. Let me minimize that. Because like I said, hope it's gonna show better. Yeah. Get that up. Yes. So, like I said, Paul was one of the first people. Paul Adikoja. He's still at Crown Pro Elite now, one of the leading members there. He founded the organization. So, explain about this. Yeah, there we go. Much better. Yeah, Paul. I don't know why is it still showing this. No, it's there we go. All right. So, all right. Yeah, Paul was one of the first people that got me into the coaching role at scouting role, I should say, at Crystal Palace. And it's an interesting journey that I had at Crystal Palace because yeah, this is Paul here. Interesting time I had at Crystal Palace. Like I said, Paul, he's at Watford now. He does Paul. To give you a little breakdown about Paul. Paul is for me one of the top coaches in East London, I would say. I actually emailed him. I emailed a lot of people. Asking them for a job. He came down. He said, "Come down, give your coaching session. Let's see how good you are." Came down. I prepared. Obviously, everything I took from Leighton Orient. I said, "Yeah, do you know what? I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna use this, and I'm gonna give it my all." Done my session plan. Went in there. Had a great session. I really enjoyed the session. He came up to me after. He was like, "Oh, you're really good at what you do. I'm looking to build a couple teams. I'm going to give you a choice of picking either under 14s or under 16s." And at the time, my brother, he was 16 at the age. I'm sure it was either under 15s or under 16s, but I think it was actually under 16. My brother was 16 at the age, the time, 15, 20, 16. And I was like, "Do you know what? My little brother, really good at football as well. I'm going to bring him in. Perfect opportunity for me to work with my brother in a setting where, like, I'm the coach, play, you know what I'm saying? Little family dream of that." So, yeah, it was really good to get my brother in. And I said, I'm going to decide to take the 16s. He gave me that role. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this on with two hands. And what I really liked about Paul, and why I always give Paul his credit, and for me, one of the best coaches, like I said, he's very detailed in how he prepares his teams, very detailed in how he develops of players. Because one of the, when I was young, when we were playing football, and this is one of the things that I learned, is the detail. Like, there's not a lot of detail in what you're taught, especially nowadays. Like, for me, the first time I learned about half turn, the first time I learned about a punch pass was from this guy. No coach growing up in my any time taught me how to hit a ball correctly, told me how to movement, all these things. It was just basic, long, this and that. When I joined this guy really taught me how about football. Gave me the instruments, gave me the tools, and if it wasn't for him, I don't think I'll have the knowledge and the know-how of football today. So I'll always give Paul his credit when it comes to that, because for me, he was topping that. He was topping, trying to help me achieve that in terms of trying to be a top coach. And like I said, he's still at Watford now. And he don't really engage in it as much, but he's definitely part of the setup over there. And Paul definitely give his credit. I know a lot of people don't like Paul because of like his antics and whatnot, but for me, great guy, very, very great guy. And yeah, and like I said, gave me my first coaching job, and this was at Crystal Palace. Yeah, Crystal Palace. This is where it all kicked off for me. Yeah, like, this is where I really got into the business. As time's going on, because as you can see, I've got loads and loads of stories. So I'm going to try and get this short and sweet as possible. And over the course, I'm going to break down a lot of these stories and speak about them in detail a lot more. But yes, Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace was the first coaching job that I got. And scouting job, sorry. Scouting job that I got. It was a voluntary role. And at the time, for me, like, what they taught you there, the aim was to you basically go out, you bring the players into the foundation level. If they're good enough, they will go into a 6-week trial, whatnot. And for me, I was like, cool. Do you know what? They say they want boys that are better than what they've got. So for me, my main aim, what I've done is I used to go in before I even went to the grassroots. I said, I'm not even going to go watch any matches. I'm going to go straight into the Crystal Palace training. I'm going to look at the level. I'm going to take in all the information that they're giving me, and then I'm going to go out and I'm going to get my players, and that's kind of how I've done it. And for me, I feel like I was very, 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 very good in my scouting job in terms of bringing in players. And I'm going to talk about a lot of the players that I worked with. Some of them playing in the Premier League right now, and some of them doing really well. And I'm going to break down into detail more about the stories and how I got them, and how we was able to attract them to the club. Because for me, them days I've done it a bit different. Like, a lot of people might not understand how it is and how to get in. But maybe if you lock in, like, and you subscribe, I'm going to give you guys a little guided tour on how to, if you're starting out in this football journey, you need some little gems, you need some little tips, that I'm definitely the man to help you moving forward when it comes to that. And yeah, like I said, Crampo was a great time for me. Played against a lot of academy teams. Like I said, Paul gave me my first academy role, and this is where I kind of met this scouting job, and this is where I met this young boy. This young boy, I don't know if a lot of you guys will recognize him. This young boy, I'll talk about briefly about his story with this young boy. I remember I was in Worcester Flats, and this was after I've gone to Crystal Palace and I've looked at all the players and like, cool, this is what I'm gonna go do now. I'm gonna go out there. For me, I always looked, first of all, I had to see who was the best in the team. If he's the best in the team, then I'm gonna, like I said, I won't just go to him straight away or wait a couple of weeks and I'll see how well they're done and I'll approach the parents and then go to the club. But this kid, as soon as I went to the Flats, he caught my eye straight away. His name's Usman Kamara. Still at the club that he's wearing now, young Usman Kamara. And for me, it was just the way he glid past everybody. As soon as you got the ball, beat one man, beat second man, beat third man, goal. Okay, again, one man, second man, goal. One man, second man, goal. And I was like, nah, this kid, there's no way this kid is not being signed. So I thought, let me come back next week and see what's going on. Came back the next week, doing the absolute same thing, tearing it up. I was like, nah, where's his dad? Who's his dad? Where's his dad? Found out his dad, Angel, was there. Had a conversation with him. But let me tell you how I done it a bit different, because for me, I had a USP. Yeah, and my USP, as you can see, was Crown Pro Elite. Because of who Paul was, and I knew what the opportunities that he could offer. Because at the time, it wasn't just one club we had access to. Paul has access to a variety of clubs, and I knew this. He was able to give me an opportunity at Crystal Palace, yes, but I knew ultimately if I couldn't get every player into there, I knew that if I brought them to Crown Pro, that will still give them the opportunity to go elsewhere. So I used that both to my advantage when I was speaking to the parents, letting them know that, hey, look, I work for Crystal Palace. At the same time, I also coach for this grassroots club here. I can give you my recommendations to the club, and hopefully they can get you in. And as well as I can bring you down to a setup where we train at a very high level. And if you don't quite make it at Crystal Palace, then there's other opportunities out there that we can make it for you. And then his dad was very interested. He came down to, after speaking with the club, obviously, at the same time, because the reason why it was a bit different, because obviously it was Sunday league to Sunday league. So obviously when you're playing Sunday league, every player has the right to go and train and play with another club if they want to. So that's literally what I done. I made Usman come train with us. And at the time he was training with us, because what I like to do as well, I also thought, all right, cool. If I can get the players to Crown Pro, I can sharpen up on their little skills. I can get Paul to look over them. He can polish them up, and then we can send them in, because then it's a win-win every situation. So, and if Paul says he's good enough, then hopefully I've hit the nail on the head. And that's literally what I've done. Got him into Crown Pro. Paul watched him. Paul absolutely loved him. Paul said, yeah, this guy, he's top draw. I said, all right, cool. Do you know what? I'm going to bring him in at Crystal Palace. I'm going to see what they're saying at Palace. And then we go from there. He was like, yeah, do you know what? Bring him in at Palace. Brought him in at Palace. He was there for a couple of weeks. It was kind of getting delved in a decision. And in the end, he came to training. And this was all in the space of, I'll say, in a space of about 2 weeks. What happened was, he came to our training session. He was at Crystal Palace. I think it was roughly about 2 weeks in. I was trying to get some engagement about what they think of him. It was a bit in and ahhing. And then in the end, they was taking a bit too long. So what I did have to do was say to Paul, hey, these are not really moving with Usman right now. What are we going to do with Usman? He said, listen, I've got another guy at Arsenal. Yeah, I'm going to bring him in to the training session. He's going to have a look at him, and then we're going to go from there. I said, what? He said, yeah, I've got a mate at Arsenal. He's going to come to the training session, watch the player. If he's good enough, I'm going to bring him in. And then this one, I was like, oof, I'm definitely at the right place. You're telling me. And then this is the difference what I'm talking about in terms of how we was growing up. I'm sitting there, you're telling me that our academy scout is going to come to our training session, not watch what's the flats training ground, and hopefully we're talking about he's going to come to the session, see if he's good enough and bring him in. I was like, yeah, this is what I need to know. This is the type of stuff I need to understand. And literally, that's what happened. The guy came in. From Arsenal. He came in from Arsenal. He looked at Usman. He saw the quality in him. He said, "You know what? I'm going to bring this boy in," and then I won't even kid you. I won't even kid you. I think it was roughly. I think he was at Arsenal. About 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I would say, on trial. I think, and then they kind of made their mind up after that. And then he done the 2-3 weeks. He done the 6 week stint, and then he was in, and that's him now at Arsenal. Usman Carrara. I think he signed a professional contract at Arsenal right now, doing really, really well in the under 21s. And that's what really gave me the energy. That's what really made me say, do you know what? It's time. It's time for me to actually do this thing properly. I got the eye. I know what to do. And at the same time, funny enough, while I picked him up, because he was playing for Sinmar at the time, there was another young boy called Yusuf. And I'll talk about their story later on, because their story is quite interesting. Picked up Usman as well. Same situation with Crystal Palace. And then he ended up going to Spurs. Correct me if I'm wrong. I still believe he's there, or he might have moved. I'm going to get that research. I'm going to do the full story on this. But yes, Usman Kamara was the first player that I've gone to grassroots level, gone out and picked him. And this was like, how many years ago? We're talking, I joined Crown Pro in 2015, 2016. So we're talking about 10 years ago now. 10 years ago now. This is the fruits of that labor, and then and this is what it was when I was at Crown Pro Elite. This is what a lot of people don't understand. I was getting paid £10 a session on job seekers. I wasn't getting no money, but like I said, when I was at Crown Pro Elite, the opportunities was absolutely amazing. Like I was able to play against academy teams like Doncaster. Like I remember this game perfectly well. My little brother scored an absolute banger in this game. Like doing all sorts of crazy, but playing against teams like Fleetwood United, traveling halfway across the country. I remember this game perfectly. I know a lot of young boys remember this game perfectly. Played against Fleetwood and just going around journeys, being in all these different training grounds, seeing all these coaches, being in all these different environments, just really made me love and appreciate the game of football. Really made me want to get involved and learn. And to be honest, I soaked it all up. Had an under 16 boys, this is us against Ipswich. Had a bunch of under 16 boys really hungry. Like I said, my brother was in there at the time, and I really pushed. I gave 20% into that opportunity at Crown Pro, because for me, it was something that I've never ever seen before. And it was something that I was like, do you know what? I don't care if I'm not getting paid right now. To experience this is something that I feel that I could never, ever, so no one can ever take away from me. And this was my first game, my first ever academy game. I never forget this. Against Scunthorpe United. Yeah, I think, I can't remember the score in that game. I'm pretty sure, I think we lost 1-0. And this is my first ever academy game, and it really spurred me on to be like, do you know what? Like, I love this game. I absolutely loved it. And from that moment moving forward, it was all guns blazing. It was all guns blazing. I used to read, dream, sleep, eat, everything. Everything was football, because I didn't want to let Paul down, because Paul was a very hard operator. And at the same time, when you're in such a competitive field and you've got loads of people trying to get signed, we all know how it is. It's going to be very hard for you to get boys in. So I done my best. You know what I'm saying? I done my best. It's us against Cambridge United. Funny enough, one of the players in here, it was funny because, like, again, this is another experience. I'm going to talk about it a bit more, but as time's dragging on, I don't really want to drag into it. But again, little things that I learned along the way. There was a boy that was training. We had a boy that went to Cambridge United. He was so good yeah, that he didn't have to go to every single training session. You only had to go to some training sessions, and they were still playing, and they wanted him to get into the team. And these were the type of little nuts and crannies where I used to think like, wow. And it's sad enough that he didn't take the opportunity serious, because he doesn't play football now. No, he doesn't, because I've seen him jumping around up and down in gang videos. But no, but nevertheless, it was a real eye opener just to see how football clubs treated some of these players in terms of how they wanted them to get into the team and what they would sacrifice in order for the players to get into the team. So, yeah, that journey there at Crown Pro, I think my biggest achievement at the club was here when I won the London Cup. Yes, under 16 London Cup. One of my best, my biggest achievement as a manager. We used to play in the Hackney Marshes League. Like, the league was so easy, and this was another difference as well. We used to play in the Hackney Marshes League. We didn't used to play all the games, because what would you rather play against? I can't even remember, Greenfield Rovers, or take a trip down up north and you're gonna be playing Fleetwood United or Carlisle or Ipswich or Arsenal. Many teams that we played. The list goes on. Reading, this, that. So that was the difference. But when it came to the cup, obviously this big opportunity, took it with both hands. Under 16 team, we went out there and smashed it. And I'm actually gonna, I think I got the picture here, because there's another player here that I also, where is it? I wanted to have a little word about, because after, like I said, when I was at that time, but like I said, my brother was 16 at the time. So I said to my brother, hey, listen, I got this team here right now. I need you to bring all your mates down to come to this team, because, yeah, I know you lot are good. I've been watching you lot from young. And if you don't want an opportunity, like, trust me, Paul is the guy. And then they all came down, done the little bits and bobs, and we went on. And I feel like that's why it was more enjoyable for me, because I thought a lot of the boys were local lads, respected me a lot, and respected the situation. We'll say the opportunity, I should say, that I was giving them in terms of playing for, getting opportunities to getting scouted. And like I said, I'm trying to find this picture, but I don't think I can find it. But there was a young boy. While I'm finding, I'm going to show you. I'll show you guys another. But yeah, there was a young boy in that team who right now is doing big things, and a lot of you will know him. Yeah. But before I get his picture up, I actually want to show you guys. Yeah, this was a majority of the boys that was there at the time. And like I said, great bunch of boys. Like, and obviously for me, it was an eye opener. You know, obviously I know how these boys felt. Do you get me? Like, being a young boy myself, like hoping and dreaming of playing for our academy team or Premier League team or any type of team, becoming a professional. I knew what it meant to them. I knew how much they wanted it. I knew how much they dreamt of it. And you know, when you got someone's hopes in your hands, that you want to do the best you can to make sure you can give them that opportunity. And I felt like I did. Felt like I tried. And don't get me wrong, it was difficult at times. Because, you know, there's a lot of outside situations that go on and things that are out of your control. But hey, I felt like I did. And one of the players that I thought to this day that I can say, hey, do you know what? After all said and done, I can look back and say, hey, at least Big Dog here is doing what he needs. Oh, sorry. That's a drop. Doing what he needs to do. And yeah, this was on the day. London Cup final. And I wonder if you guys can spot a young lad in there. Yeah. A young lad called Calvin Bassey. Interesting. Obviously, you can see he's there on the right. He's actually ain't got a kit on. He's just got a bag. He was part of the team that was us just winning. There's a few familiar faces in there because I know a lot of boys in have gone on to do some content like Ibby there on the far right, the keeper. Who else is in there? And obviously Jason, that's Paul's younger brother. But as you can see on right there, that's me there in the middle with the. I love the what do you call them hats now? I call it a granddad hat, but I don't know, geezer hat, granddad hat, whatever you call it. I loved it. That was my thing. You know what I'm saying? Little jacket, geezer hat. You know what I'm saying? Coming in and looking all bravado and that. Yeah, but that was my thing. East London and all that. Come on, you Irons. But yeah, that was me, man. I love my fisherman. That was my little thing in it. If I don't have my granddad hat, then I'm not stepping out on that field. It was going to be a good day. But yeah, the young boy Bassi, yeah, interesting story. Like I said, he actually not in kick that day because what happened is he was on trial. He was on trial at Leicester at the time. Bassi came in at Crown Pro, smashed it. He came a little bit later because what happened was when the boys started coming in, word spreads like wildfire. He was doing really well, had a couple of academy games, and he came later on down the line and he came into the team and he done really well. Paul really liked him. Paul really pushed him. And at the time he was on trial. I can't remember what club it was because I remember at the time he was on trial at multiple clubs like Charlton. I think he even went to Crystal Palace. Then ultimately he was on trial at then he went on trial to Leicester, where he ultimately signed for Leicester, and that was his first club. And obviously at the time, seeing and obviously Bassi, he was from my area, so he's my brother's friend. So he was part of the boys that my brother encouraged to come down. And obviously Bassi, seeing someone that locally from the ends. This is when he's first signed for Leicester City. Seeing someone from the end signed for a club, yeah, like that feeling alone, like in my heart, is one of the best feelings like I've ever had. Like apart from like my kids being born and certain other things, but in relation to football, one of the best feelings I had. Like just seeing the young lad from where you grew up, living out that dream that you've gone on and done. I know it's only at the academy stage, but for me, and especially gave me a big boost in myself, in saying like, do you know what? Like, this is really what I wanted to do. And seeing him go on at Leicester, we've seen his career go on and play for Ajax, play for Fulham, play for international team. He's been a revelation to this day where I can sit back and I can say, do you know what? Like this young man is out here, he's living his dreams. Do you know what I'm saying? As a Premier League international football player. And I can happily say that man was part of that process. And that spurred me on. Like I said, at Crown Pro Elite, there was such amazing opportunities that we had. And Calvin Bassett, seeing these boys, and there was many other players that I spoke with, and I can go all day long. But as you can see, time's cracking on. But I'm going to try to shorten it down. But there's many players I worked with. Richard Taylor is currently at Bolton. We've got Dwight Pascal, Dennis. The list goes on and on. And like I said, we have switched it up now. I'm going to be breaking down these stories and speaking about them a lot more. But Calvin Bassey definitely was one of them players for me, like I said, that I can definitely hold down now in terms of my achievement in here. So, and a lot of people ask, like, okay, so like all this was happening for you, like, why is it in here on the podcast? For me at the time, like I said, obviously, I wasn't getting paid as much as I was getting paid at the time. And me having a child, a lot of things started happening for me. And in the end, I had to leave Crown Pro, regrettably. And after I took a break from football for a little bit, and then decided to come and do my own thing. I decided to do my own thing. I was like, do you know what? I've gone on, I've won trophies, I've scouted for Reading, I've scouted for Crystal Palace, I've scouted for all these other clubs, seen some amazing people, got some great experience. I thought, you know what? It's time to go and do my own thing. and I started on my own club, and I'm gonna try and shorten this up because I'm gonna talk about these stories a lot more. So I'm gonna try and cram it all in now, and then I'll break them down a lot more. So don't forget to like and sub, because this is, it's about to get juicy now. You get me? The decor and that sort of thing. Don't worry, thing gonna spice it up even more. But yeah, man's coming with it now. So, but yeah, I started my own thing, East Junior Borough Academy, and I picked this picture especially because this young boy here, definitely now when I think about this club, was because right now he's currently not running, but we're definitely gonna look to get it back. But this kid here was a big part of this club, and he will forever hold a big heart in my heart. And it's Lionel Ramos. He came into the club. He was one of he was one of the first people to come on the club when I advertised it. He came to the club, brought all his friends over there. And the one thing about Lionel that stood out for Lionel is he was one of them kids that I saw he had great potential. Well, not just footballing as potential, just great potential as a person. But the people around him didn't really take him in. He wasn't like the best dressed guy, like grippy. He wasn't maybe just that out how you expect the most popular guy to be, but he was in the popular crew. But I always, when I looked at him, I was like, he's actually the person that his friends should be following. Like, always on time, manners, respectful. When it came to training, gave 110%, always paid his subs. And in the early stages, I said, you know what? I'm going to make this kid my captain. And I've done it for many reasons. Because, in coaching, there's a lot of things with dynamics in terms of who you're going to pick and put in. And for me, he was the one. He was the one in terms of just getting that group correct, because a lot of the players was his mates. But I felt me giving that responsibility to him will take him to a next level. And the moment I gave him that captaincy, I can see the change on his face. That even when he came in train the next day, if I said he trained at 110%, he trained at 120%. Yeah, he was always on time. He always gave this all. And the reason why I loved him, because, like I said, he wasn't the greatest at the time in terms of his ability. But I said, because of who you are and what you do, I always told him, you're going to get better. You will improve. You will get in my team. He didn't always start, but he came. He done what he needed to do. And the reason why I do take great pleasure in mentioning him, because like during that situation when we was at the club, obviously, like I said, I'm going to talk about it a bit more. There was a sad situation that happened, and I felt that where he is now and what he has done, is definitely shows good accreditation. So these are the boys here, and what happened was, I'll probably speak about the story a bit separately about my experience. But one of our young players actually passed away, and it was Lionel's best friend. And Lionel actually, sadly, was the one that found him, passed away. And in the end, we ended up raising some money together as a club, and some clubs reached out to us as well, and they wanted to play a charity game in the name of Richard Koeman. And Richard, for me, obviously, like I said, I want to go into a bit more, but while I've mentioned the name, he was one of them players that he had my heart as well. Like, he didn't always have his subs, great player, little bit of behavior issues, but I just saw a little bit of him in me, and always gave them a chance. And when I heard that sad news, I did feel I had to do everything in my power to do what I can for him and the family, because it was such an unfortunate incident. And to be honest, when I did set up the GoFundMe page at the time, I definitely did not expect it to achieve what it did. And for us to raise over £3,000 as a club and to give over to the family, for me, was a humbling experience in myself, and something that I hold dearly in my heart. And definitely while I was preparing the show, and I was thinking about this moment, I was thinking it's it's definitely something that I need to probably revisit and keep his name alive, because, like I said, it was amazing young king, and there was unfortunate incident that he passed away in his sleep. And like I said, I was forever grateful. Like I said, I thought we was gonna raise a couple £100, but for us to raise over £3,000 towards the funeral and to give to the family, and for Lionel to go through that moment and experience that, for me obviously was a heartbreaking thing. But like I said, from what he's doing now, he's gone into coaching now. He's a very good coach. He also makes music, and he tells me a lot of the time that, coach, like, it was you that gave me the inspiration. It was you that helps me get through. It is you that is helped me where I am today. And these are the little things that money can't buy. Do you know what I'm saying? These are the things that money can't buy. And like I said, when I started off my own journey, when I was starting off my own academy, this is one thing that Paul warned me about. He said, well, if you want to start your own academy, it's not cheap. And I thought, like, yeah, whatever. And it was right. And that's ultimately why I wasn't able to sustain it, because the cost was too much. And in the end, I didn't do it to make money. But if you're losing money every single week, then it's not something that you want to continue as much as you loved it. But it's for reasons like this why I continue to lose money every single week, to see players just develop, whether they didn't go on that. This is one thing I was key about in my philosophy in just developing players as humans. I used to tell these boys it's not just about being at the club, it's not just about being professionals. I tried my best to develop them as men, develop them as boys, and prepare them for the wider world. And to see someone like Lionel, my captain, shining that and doing so well in what he's doing, yeah, like I said, it gives man great solace and great yeah, it was good, and I loved it. And obviously a lot of the boys, I don't know if some of you are watching, like, reach out, let me know where you're at, let me know what you're doing. I do speak to some of the little boys. If you guys want to jump on, get involved, link up, doing collaborations, and if you guys want to do, I'll definitely be there. But yeah, man. And obviously, like I said, I wasn't managed to able to do that, but jumped into the content space now, and I'm here delivering, telling you guys a little bit about football. And yeah, man, that was just a little bit of my story and my journey into football, and just a little bit and dabble about what I've done. And I'm gonna expand over this over the course of weeks and times, because as you can see, there's a lot, and there's probably things that you want to know and questions that you want to know. If there's anything you guys want to know, just hit the just put it in the comments, give me a message, DM. Also, as well, if there's anyone out there, like I said, who has any advice about football, or you have anything about your child, or you need some about a club, or just some help in terms of training ideas, hit me up. This is what I'm about now. I'm going to be focusing, going back into what I was doing before, and helping the young boys. And speaking about the young boys in terms of footballing, and focusing on the next generation of young stars. So yes, man, it's your boy LP Coach. Thanks for everyone locking in. And you know what? I'm actually gassed. I'm looking at the things looking nice. Like, I didn't even that's my nephew's Leighton Orient shirt. Couple medals there, football trophy. That's me there, my trophy. That's actually a shirt that I show Speed. You know, Baller League. When I took my son there, I showed Speed came. You know, when he was there, he shot every one of them things, and yeah, man, caught it. So it's live evidence there. My son wanted to take it. It's an extra large. I was like, son, you're gonna go and ruin it. I said, you know what? I'm gonna keep it for the right time. And this is the right time. Keep it nice and things. So yeah, anyone wants to, yeah, hit me up. But nah, guys, appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. I've got many stories. Tomorrow, we ain't stopping the preview show. Tomorrow morning, EPL preview. The Premier League is back. And yes, I've got some brand new shows coming up for you guys. So lock in and Yeah, tap in, not just on YouTube. Hit us up on our TikTok, Instagram, all the socials. We are there. Appreciate you guys locked in. Let's go, buddy.